In the early 1990s, Sony and Nintendo were working together on a secret project, a CD-ROM add-on for the SNES. But behind the scenes, all was not well. Nintendo was worried that Sony was trying to muscle in on the game business, and Sony was frustrated with Nintendo's controlling ways. The partnership fell apart, and Sony decided to go its own way and developed its own console, the PlayStation, which was the first to offer true 3D graphics. The PlayStation was a huge success and became Nintendo's biggest competitor. Obviously by now, you know I'm giving a Switch Lite away at 10K subs, but if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. So yeah, basically, Sony was supposed to make a CD-ROM add-on for the SNES, being one of the most popular consoles at the time, but the partnership fell apart and Sony and Nintendo became rivals. Nintendo was very worried about Sony's intentions, and rightfully so, because secretly they wanted an easy way into the gaming market to make their own consoles. Well, it happened either way. Sony released the PlayStation in Japan in December 1994, and it was a huge success thanks to the powerful hardware and its library of high-quality games. Now, Sega was another major player in the console market at the time. They were caught off guard by the PlayStation's success because Sega had been focused on 2D graphics, and its new console, the Saturn, was not as powerful as PlayStation in terms of 3D graphics. The PlayStation quickly became the most popular console in the world, and it helped to usher in a new era of video games. The PlayStation was a landmark console. It was the first to offer true 3D graphics, and it helped to popularize a new genre of games, RPGs. The PlayStation also had a strong library of third-party games, which helped to make it more attractive to gamers. The PlayStation's success helped to change the face of the video game industry. It showed that it was possible to challenge the dominance of an established player like Nintendo. The PlayStation also helped to make video games more mainstream. The PlayStation was a revolutionary console. It changed the way that video games were made and played. The PlayStation's success helped to usher in a new era of video games and continues to be remembered as one of the greatest consoles of all time. Now let's wrap things up with talking about these intentions that Nintendo was so worried about. Nintendo's paranoia was justified. Ken Kutaragi, the Sony engineer who started this whole project, saw this partnership as his first step in achieving the dream of getting started into making their own consoles with the Sony name. Now, Nintendo saw right through this, and that's why they decided to strike first. Kinda do feel bad for Sony, because the day that Sony made this big announcement that they're gonna be working with Nintendo on this project, Nintendo announced immediately after, at the same convention, that they're going to be dropping Sony and partnering with their rival, Philips, instead. Sony was obviously publicly humiliated, and Nintendo had hoped that this would push Sony out of the gaming market for good. That didn't work. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love the one up on screen now. As always, don't be dull, stay sharp, and enjoy the next video, guys.